It's no secret that Whitney Houston was bisexual, but her intimate relationship with Robyn Crawford was closely guarded for years. They loved each other immensely, but it was complicated, and unfortunately, they would never be together the way Robyn wanted. Robyn, Whitney's longtime best friend, creative director, and eventual business partner, revealed that she did have a sexual and romantic relationship with Whitney very early on. She's also discussed in detail how their relationship has changed over the span of 22 years. Robyn's 2019 book, A Song for You, My Life with Whitney Houston, documents the complex connection between the two. In this memoir, she explains how, for decades, they were forced to hide and conceal the sexual aspect of their relationship, while they faced constant and intense speculation and scrutiny. There were several times when Robyn was ear-bashed, marginalized, and apparently threatened with violence by Whitney's own family members. Robyn has said, "I found comfort in my silence." She chose to write this book in an effort to push back against the sensationalist dilution of her best friend's legacy. In the same spirit, Whitney's estate granted special permission for a biopic to be made. This film specifically explores Whitney and Robyn's relationship publicly, on screen, for the very first time. So if you've got a problem with me talking about their relationship, I don't know what to tell you. The name of the biopic is Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody. So Whitney and Robyn first met at summer camp in East Orange, New Jersey in the summer of 1980, when the two were still teenagers. Whitney was 16 and Robyn was 19. The two bonded immediately. Robyn says, "There was an instant connection. I was a basketball star, home from college, and Whitney had just started singing publicly, still in high school. We clicked. We were two friends. It wasn't like we met at a club. It was something that happened in the flow of a friendship." Robyn has talked about how their sexual and romantic relationship started that very summer. Now, they were both raised in strictly religious Christian homes, where the idea of same-sex attraction was out of the question. Because of this, even though the chemistry was strong, even in private, they struggled to accept what was going on between them. In her book, Robyn wrote, "We never talked labels like lesbian and gay. We just lived our lives, and I hoped it could go on that way forever." Robyn described their relationship saying, "We built our friendship based on being open and honest with each other about everything. She told me she was going to sign this record deal, and she was going to take me with her all around the world. And along the way, we had an intimate, loving, physical experience of friendship within our friendship. It was love, and it was open and honest. It was clear from the first time they met that Whitney was destined for greatness. Apart from her vocal talent, she had her beauty, her charm, her charisma. On top of that, she came from a star-studded family. There was her cousin Dionne Warwick, who was already a star with Walk On By. Sissy Houston, her alleged mother, if you know you know, that's another video, had found success as a backing singer. And now Whitney herself, a bright, eminent star, was catching attention from record execs up in New York. But Whitney's impending fame also meant that her special relationship with Robyn was going to be a problem. After meeting Clive Davis and signing her first contract at age 19, Whitney joined Arista Records. Then, as detailed in the memoir, she headed over to Robyn's house, presented her with a Bible, before breaking the news to her that they had to stop having sex, because it would just make their journey more difficult. She also told Robyn that because her career was taking off now, if anyone ever found out about them, they would definitely use it against them. Because of her love for her, Robyn complied with Whitney's wish. So right from the start, it was hidden from the public, on the understanding that Robyn would still be in Whitney's life in other ways. As soon as Whitney could afford to, she hired Robyn as her personal assistant, and the two moved in together into an apartment in Woodbridge, New Jersey. Now, back in the mid-80s, Whitney's management team was small, even after her first two albums became two of the biggest selling debut albums of all time. First, there was the eponymous album Whitney Houston, with hits including How Will I Know and Saving All My Love for You, and the second hit album, Whitney, which featured I Want to Dance with Somebody. Whitney had a manager, but Robyn said he couldn't be as attentive, intuitive, and caring for Whitney as she could. Robyn recalled, "He couldn't get her clothing out, get it pressed, get up early, and send it downstairs like I could. I did all those things." And Robyn was glad to do these things, because caring came naturally to her. Robyn grew up with a father who was violent and abusive, and a victimized mother who suffered at his hands. So from a very young age, Robyn developed a very protective nature. But Whitney's childhood also took a dark turn. Oscar-winning director Kevin MacDonald made a candid documentary about Whitney's life, in which he interviewed members of Whitney's family about some very painful secrets. Trigger warning. He told Vanity Fair it was while interviewing Whitney's brother, Gary, that he uncovered the most painful secret of all. Whitney and her brother were essayed by a family member. For years, no one knew who it was, until the name of that family member was finally revealed by her brother. It was their cousin Dee Dee Warwick, the full sister of the legendary singer Dionne Warwick. Gary said, "My mother and father were gone a lot, so we stayed with a lot of different people. 4 or 5 different families took care of us." And Whitney didn't confide in many people about her private life. but she did confide in her former personal assistant, Mary Jones. In the film, Mary recalled the moment when Whitney placed her trust in her. She said, "Whitney looked at me and said, 'Mary, I was SA'd at a young age too, but it wasn't by a man, it was a woman.' She had tears in her eyes. I said, 'Have you ever told your mother?' She says no. Her mother had no idea what her and Gary went through. I said, 'Well, maybe you need to tell her.' She said no, my mother would hurt somebody if I told her who it was. She just had tears rolling down her face, and I just hugged her. I said, 'One day, when you get the nerve, you need to tell your mother. It will lift the burden off you.' Whitney kept the secret to the day she died, and didn't tell her actual mother or Dionne Warwick, but now both women know. It's no surprise then that Whitney wanted so badly to use singing as her ticket away from her painful past. Affectionately calling Whitney by her nickname, Nippy, Robyn said, "This wasn't someone who was pushed into show business. Nippy was someone who really chose it. She was very clear-headed about it, and I was very solid. I was made for that role. It was about being partners on a journey. For years, Robyn and Whitney functioned effectively as a couple. They were living together, sometimes sharing the same bed, and emotionally never stopped being close. They would stay up late, listening to music and making plans. They felt complete in each other's presence, and Robyn was happy. But when Whitney started dating Jermaine Jackson, then Eddie Murphy, and eventually Bobby Brown, Robyn confessed that it was incredibly difficult for her. She said, "The physical part of our relationship was no longer, but the intimacy. Our friendship was intimate on all levels. That's how deep it was. And I wanted her to call me and say, 'Guess what? This is what's happening with Jermaine.' And she wasn't doing that. And that hurt more than anything. It didn't feel like she was cheating on me. It felt more like she was leaving me out. Whenever a relationship didn't work out, Robyn was always right there." Their bond became a 22-year relationship, during which time Robyn was Whitney's assistant, creative director, and the co-manager of her company, Nippy Inc. She was even the maid of honor at Whitney's wedding to Bobby Brown in 1992. Robyn said, "I didn't know Bobby before the wedding. We never really got a chance to know each other. But what I will say is that she told me she loved him." Addressing rumors that she and Bobby once came to blows, Robyn said that never happened. "Bobby and I were not squaring off in Everlast shorts and boxing gloves. I was still in the same spot where Whitney always wanted me to be. Bobby never approached me personally or said anything to me about the rumors of our relationship. Not once. But I watched him make a mess of her trail. I wasn't competing with him for anything. I was her friend, and he could have been a better friend too." However, Robyn's also been quoted saying, "Bobby was annoying. He was very annoying." Whitney's former bodyguard, David Roberts, described that relationship as ice and fire, explaining that Robyn and Bobby actually would battle for Whitney's affection. Robyn also revealed that she suspected Bobby was abusing Whitney, so really and truly, there was no love lost between them. So what's Bobby Brown said about Robyn Crawford? Well, since Whitney's tragic passing, Bobby has confirmed that she and Robyn did in fact have a secret relationship. Bobby said that Whitney's alleged mother, Sissy, was never okay with the idea of the lesbian relationship, insisted that Robyn be fired, and would never have approved of it. This sentiment was confirmed when, in an interview with Oprah, Sissy once admitted she was never keen on Robyn. She said, "I didn't particularly like her. She just spoke too disrespectful sometimes, like she had something over Nippy. I didn't like that at all." In Whitney's mind, this comp-het environment made it further impossible for her and Robyn to continue their romantic relationship. To be fair to Bobby though, who's come a long way from his self-destructive younger days, he did say in 2016 that, "I really feel if Robyn had been accepted into Whitney's life, Whitney would still be alive today." Even though the two women remained friends until Whitney's death in 2012, by the time it actually happened, Robyn had ultimately distanced herself from the late singer. Back in 2000, Robyn expressed concerns she had about Whitney's personal life and the direction in which things were going. She said no matter what rules we came up with around responsible drug use, she kept breaking them and using whenever she wanted to. Around the time Robyn was making the decision to leave, Whitney was cancelling shows and missing recording sessions due to the stronghold that addiction was having over her life. Robyn also wanted to prove that she can make a living on her own without Whitney's help, so she left the management team and started doing her own thing. But the two kept in touch because, on a soul level, they were both still important fixtures in each other's lives. Just one day after Whitney's death, Robyn penned an article for Esquire magazine, paying tribute to Whitney's extraordinary life. In the article, Robyn touched on their relationship, remarking that she loved Whitney's laugh and would miss that the most. So after moving to a different state, Robyn rekindled a relationship with her old flame, Lisa Hintelman. The two got married and are now the parents of twins. Robyn has since left the entertainment industry. She's now a New York Times best-selling author. And since the release of her memoir, A Song for You, Robyn has given many interviews and appeared on talk shows talking about her 22-year relationship with Whitney Houston. The sad irony is, she was never able to do this while Whitney was alive. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and follow for more.